share my screen. Okay, so everyone should be seeing what I am currently seeing, which is my slides. And hopefully that helps out with everything. So what we shall chat about today for our May meeting, as we always do, is talk a little bit about the fun things that we have been spotting out and about, have a quick identification challenge, and lately I've been thinking about salt marshes, so the theme will be salt marshes this time. We'll do some committee business and welcome any new visitors this evening. We have to have a vote on our board members, so we'll have an elections component to do for this evening. I think we've already had our field trip earlier this month. Am I correct about that? Yes, no, maybe so. Wasn't it earlier this month?
Yes, I think it was earlier this month.
Okay. So finals time, I have no idea what's going on in the outside world, so just wanted to make sure. So that's a little bit different.
Weekend at the River State Park.
Yes.
A very nice walk.
Great. And then we'll talk a little bit about the big day coming up this weekend, and then anything else before we try to enjoy our program for this evening. So let's continue on and share any wonderful sightings that you might have had over the past couple of days, since the last meeting, whatever it might be.
Well, I'll go first, Sean. I've got a rose-breasted grosbeak coming to my feeder. She showed up last night, and she was there at 5:45 this morning, and she's currently out there right now. So I think she's going to stick around for a little bit.
Cool.
I had a red-headed woodpecker a few days ago for the first time in years, but I only saw it one day.
Hi, I was concerned because this year my eastern bluebirds that nest in my box that is almost over the water, they came back, started their nest, and they vacated. And they were on for like 3 weeks, but they came back 3 days ago, and they've been very, very busy. So I don't know if it was because it was a cooler spring, or that I was worried that my neighbors cut down their huge oak tree, and maybe that's why they left, but they're back. And we've had approximately 3 clutches of ducklings that have hatched in the last week too. So the creek's really busy with geese, ducks, the eastern bluebirds, we have chickadees nesting, and song sparrows as well in the yard, and eastern towhee.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely encourage people to get out there. Ryan Walsh and I have had really good migration pickups the last couple of weeks. It seems like a lot of shorebirds have hit the last couple of days. The Fort Monroe was packed with shorebirds, but and we've gotten some good stuff at Sandy Bottom as far as the warblers go, bay-breasted and blue wing and black-throated green, among others. Definitely still on. So I definitely recommend Sandy Bottom. If you walk up the trail that goes to the left of where they've got all the canoes and go down the lake towards the tower at the back wetland, extremely good in the morning. And then in and around Lions Bridge and where they have the longleaf pines at Mariners Museum is extremely good early in the morning. Yeah, it's really, really good out there right now. The last 3 days, I've had blackpoll warblers here in the neighborhood just calling in the trees. So sleep in June.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyone else?
I'm more elementary, and I have to thank Mark Nichols for teaching me how to identify a sharps and hawk at great distance while it's muscularly flying. Because I saw one out here 2 days ago being chased by a songbird, but I couldn't previously identify them at such distance. And I put up a bluebird box, and several weeks ago it had 3 nice blue eggs in it, and they were gone one morning. I presume a snake ate them.
Yep, sadly, the circle of life. Anyone else?
Yeah, I can say I've got a Chuck Will's widow, actually, at least 3 of them out and about my property, and you can hear them. And actually, we took a walk, and you could just barely see them. They sit in the dirt road, and then they fly around. So it's really cool to watch. And especially at night, if you're driving in, you'll catch them in your headlights. Their eyes will flash up in the road, and then they'll take off. But they're very loud, and it's fun to listen to, especially in the evening and early in the morning.
All right, anyone else want to round us out for this month? Okay, it sounds like all of us need to get out and about more. So make sure we do, to have some fun, exciting things to tell. Just a little bug to put in your ear is that for the photo contest, we're going to have one when we come back in the fall for meetings, and it'll be based upon everything that we see over the summertime. So if you haven't participated in that photo contest in the past, think about making sure you're taking photos and documenting all the wonderful things you see all summer, and really show off and make us all envious for the things that you've seen that have been awesome, or maybe not so awesome, but are cool to see nevertheless. All right, so let's move on to our identification challenge. So this first one's going to be really, really hard. Told you I was thinking about salt marshes. So I'm cheating, because I was hoping just to get you all in the same mood, thinking about horseshoe crabs. That's why I've been thinking about salt marshes. My friends up in Delaware have been going out looking for all the horseshoe crabs. So let's look at some things that might also be looking for horseshoe crabs. So maybe the second one was really, really hard. But we're very shy tonight. So hopefully we were thinking willet.
That was the first thing I thought, yeah.
Okay. And so if we're not too sure, large, stocky kind of bird, straight bill, heavy barring on the breast, and molted and back in breeding plumage anyway. So I was just giving you in breeding. So the next slide.
Eastern willet.
Eastern willet. Yes, because it would look different than the West. Thanks, Dave. Because when I first made this, I had a picture of a Western willet, and then I was like, that doesn't look right. So the next slide will have 3. So we're going to get a trifecta.
Okay. You have red knot, and you have ruddy turnstone, and you have Dunlin.
Okay. So Pete wins. You got the red knot, ruddy turnstone, and the Dunlin. All pretty common and relatively easy to identify, especially in breeding plumage, so blooming, breeding plumage this time of year. And especially if you're up on Delaware Bay, there's a lot of activity with the horseshoe crabs and the shorebirds filling up for the... I don't know. I'm in a meeting. Go away now. Don't look for it. Mommy will be with you in a second. Right? I know. Come on. I'm recording. You have to go away. I know. I'm locking you out now. Bye. I can't. I don't know what's that. They're going to fire me. Out of school this week. Thank you. Sorry about that. I lost my glasses pulling ivy the other day, and I was trying to get him to help me, and he didn't know why. And I'm like, well, they're a lot of money. I have to save up to buy some. And he's like, well, you can't buy me anything? I'm like, no, I can't buy you any dinosaurs. So after pulling everything up, I found my glasses. And so he's like, now you can buy me dinosaurs. So the fun of being a parent and not locking your door and losing your glasses. So again, I apologize, but all common birds, all great things to see. If you get a chance to go up in Delaware in the next month or so, especially around high tide of the full moons, the horseshoe crabs will come to shore and you'll get to see them, which is something you might want to do because they're suffering population declines in part because of the medical industry. And as we all know, that filters over to the birds. You might remember a great nature program called A Tale of Two Species about horseshoe crabs and red knots. And I'm sure if you haven't seen it, you can Google it and watch it on YouTube. It should come up that way, or even Nature sometimes on PBS when we play it. But it's a really nice tale how two species influence each other's ecology. So from committees, is there any new people here that we can welcome this evening? Didn't see any new names. So if you are new, say hello. If not, I welcome you back, even if you are here. Tom, do you have anything about the newsletter as we move into summer? If Tom, you're talking, we can't hear you. I might have caught you off guard. Tom,
Excuse me. I have to thank Harry and Rochelle Kohlstock, Dave Yoker, Pete Peterman, and Jane Frigo for having written the bulk of the stuff. If there are terrible errors in the rest, let me know. And reference that photo contest, Sean, you were planning that the photo contest would take place each month in the summer with your rules, or that's what I put down in the newsletter.
Okay, so I was thinking we'll just wrap it up when we come back.
Okay, just so one swoop.
Yep.
Okay, so the newsletter didn't get it correct. Maybe
That's
I can send a note to the Maxis and tell them to clean it up.
Yeah, well, and if we get photos, we'll just save them. I just didn't want to put a burden on you or Mike over the summertime. Let you all have free time and run around.
Okay, well.
Right. No worries. Mike isn't here. I didn't see the Maxis. I know the webpage is still going well. So I think we've taken care of all the major things there. So let's move on to the elections. So as some of us know, and we can still perhaps have a moment, there's a few positions that are open, although everyone needs to be voted on. But I highlighted those individual positions that needed to be refilled, or persons didn't wish to continue or their term expired, in orange. So we still have a vacancy for vice president, but the other one's board member, Katrina Dash, who might come in, but again, she's still recuperating, and field trip coordinators, Mark Nichols and James Abbott, have volunteered to want to fill that and work in tandem for those ideas. I know some of us have sent things to Mary and Cindy. I think Cindy was here. I'm not quite sure, but I've set up a poll that should allow us to vote, and you should be able to select multiple people. So you should all be seeing that poll. I don't know how long it lasts because it didn't give me that option, but if you could click on who you would like to, and if you agree with everyone, just click them. So you should be able to pick whoever you want to select.
Sean, membership doesn't show up on the voting ballot. Does that matter?
No, because I think that's a position that's not a votable position.
Right, okay.
Same thing with hospitality. And if anyone wants to, be a throwing candidate for vice president, I know everyone's intimidated to try to follow Pete's, giant shoes that he's done for the last few years. So I'll give just another moment. All right, so I'll end polling. I'll share the results with everyone. But really, I'm just trying to help that out. So Mary, if you want to take over and can you see everything okay?
Yeah, I can see it all. I think somebody might have just forgot to click the last one there because you kind of had to scroll down to see it in my view anyway. But I also got votes from people that were either not coming to the meeting or voted ahead. They might have voted again in the meeting, but I had votes that matched these results from 6, 7 people, but it matches the same. So looks like we have 100% vote.
So hey, Sean, this is Cindy. I don't know that you could see, I don't have my video on. So I see that it says 7% voted for vice president. Did somebody want to nominate themselves?
No, I simply accept what everybody else wants. I'm sorry.
Okay, I was just checking because I thought maybe we could fill the position. I was just had my fingers crossed.
You, Cindy,
you're it.
you.
Yeah, so that's something that the board will have to have a discussion about, thinking about, and maybe someone over the summertime might wish to take on that role, and we'll have an impromptu vote maybe in the fall. But again, Pete did a really good job, and I think that's why everyone's afraid to do that. But we'll figure it out. We will figure it out. Pete left a lot of good contacts, and we have a lot of things to help lead with our group members and meetings, persons that come and visit. So we're all set, although it would be nice to have someone else because Pete does a lot for the club and the vice president helps out immensely. Probably more so than I do. I just come and talk and make up things and put a PowerPoint together. So. But I think we are in agreement. So following the bylaws, we have voted in a new board. We will also install them typically in June. I don't know if there's still a plan for us to have a slate social. Does someone know more details about that? Maybe Bill, or I know there was some back and forth about things.
Sean, I know that Jane was working on that, and she did reserve, I believe, a spot up at Newport News Park, but I don't know all the details. So hopefully she'll be putting that out very soon.
Okay, and I will check in with her and send it out to everyone. And if not, so Jane will do it and I'll do it and make sure we're all together. But I think we're trying to have a little get together, be responsible and socially distant, but then we will also install all the board members and have a nice group photo because we haven't had that last year. So just to round out the voting process, all the nice nominations that were collected by Mary and Cindy, help the organization and put all that stuff together and now, follow our laws and be set. So hopefully everyone's in agreement and we are set with that. I'm going to get rid of the results. Moving on to the next item, which should be Dave's. If Dave, you want to speak about the big day, Saturday.
Okay, very appropriate bird you've got up there.
I know it's like we psychically linked.
Yeah. Well, again, just like I think I've put out some emails to the club, and hopefully everybody's gearing up for Saturday. Bird anywhere you want in the state of Virginia. Bird as long as you want, your backyard, travel around. And then all you got to do is give me your list of species, not necessarily birds, but the numbers of birds, just a list of species when you're done birding. You can send it to me through email, just a list, or you can send me your eBird list. It doesn't make any difference. And then I will consolidate the list and report it back out to the club to see how many birds that we've identified. I think in the fall we had 138, so that was pretty good. But we didn't have a lot of warblers back then, but we've got a lot of warblers coming in now. Some of the shorebirds are still lingering around, and then some of the migratory shorebirds are coming through, so should be a good day. Weather's going to cooperate. Any questions?
All right, outstanding. Thanks for reminding us, David. Thanks for all the emails. So we've all been building excitement over the last month or so for that. I'm excited to get out tomorrow. Any unfinished business or any announcements for open discussion before we move on to this evening's program?
Got a couple of bird-related trips. You may or may not know, I'm an educator with the James River Association, and I'll be running 2 bird boat trips on our boat up in Richmond to Presqu'île Island National Wildlife Refuge. Not a place you get to go to basically ever. And so that is a trip those are running on the 21st of May. And I also, on the big day, I'll be running a bird walk down in Portsmouth for Elizabeth River Project at Paradise Creek Nature Park. If anyone's interested in those, you can find them at Elizabeth River Project's website, and then at the jamesriver.org Connect with the James website. If you're looking for something to do, bird related.
All right, wonderful. Paradise Creek's a pretty nice place to hang out. Although watch out for fire ants. Anyone else? Okay. Pete, do you want to give us a brief introduction what the talk is for tonight while I get everything set up to see that?
Okay, so Jerry Villa is a retired professor from Virginia Tech. And he's been a long member of the Virginia Society of Ornithology and is a trip leader for many of the trips that VSO takes. And at these trips, he gives talks. And since we couldn't do trips because of COVID, he did a presentation which he gave on February 28th to VSO members, and it was on bird migration. And he did a lot of research, or actually brought in, looked at all the research that has been done up to the time he gave the presentation in February. And he covered the finch eruptions. He talked about the migration of shorebirds, and some of those are amazing. And so he did a complete presentation that is science-based, and it was recorded. And I requested permission for us to view that since it was such a good presentation. And so that's the link that I gave to Sean.